Eurofighter Typhoon beats the F-35 in a dogfight over Germany. Imagine you are a U.S. Air Force fighter pilot who flies the F-35 Lightning, America's preeminent fifth-generation multi-role combat aircraft. You've just been handed a slip of paper with nothing but a location somewhere over Germany and an altitude and told to fly there and engage whatever you see. You won't know who you're fighting until the merge. As you approach the merge, you can feel your anticipation build. Like most fighter pilots, you are incredibly competitive, and like any professional, you've learned to channel that nervous energy into focus and concentration. Then you see it. Oh boy, there's a Eurofighter. Hello friends, my name is Wes O'Donnell, veteran of the U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force, and even though I wasn't a pilot in the Air Force, I am fully instrument rated on Microsoft Flight Simulator 1995. Now, it's worth mentioning that simply because the 4th generation Eurofighter beat the 5th generation F-35 in this single engagement does not mean that this is a definitive statement of the F-35's quality. First, pilot skill really matters. Mario Andretti could drive a minivan and beat most regular drivers in race cars at Nürburgring. Second, the F-35 isn't really a dogfighter. What I mean is that if an F-35 finds itself in a dogfight, then the pilot is already having a really bad day. But before we get into that, what happened? In a video released by the U.S. Department of Defense, German Eurofighter pilot First Lieutenant Alexander Grant and U.S. F-35 pilot Captain Patrick Pierce broke down their head-to-head dogfight at Ramstein Air Force Base. The two pilots, one flying the European-made Eurofighter Typhoon and the other piloting the American F-35A, used paper planes to demonstrate their air maneuvers, sharing a rare glimpse into NATO's top-tier air combat capabilities. This competition was the first of its kind in Europe, pitting NATO's best fighter pilots against unfamiliar aircraft, all hosted by the U.S. Air Force. The goal? To give pilots a chance to test their skills against jets they've never flown against, while getting a deeper understanding of each other's equipment and tactics. Grant, who flies the Eurofighter Typhoon, represents a fighter designed by the European powerhouse trio Airbus Defence and Space, BAE Systems, and Leonardo. On the other side, Pierce flew the F-35A Lightning II, Lockheed Martin's stealthy 5th-generation jet, hailed for its cutting-edge technology. But here's the twist. Neither pilot knew who they'd be squaring off against until the last moment. Pierce, callsign Hobbit, explained that both pilots were handed a slip of paper with coordinates for their aerial rendezvous. As they approached the merge, aviation slang for the point where two planes cross paths, Pierce suddenly realized who his opponent was. Oh boy, there's a Eurofighter, he thought. While on the other side of the cockpit, Grant, whose callsign is Stitch, was having a similar epiphany. "I've never seen an F-35 so close," he remarked, noting that in Germany, he only trains against other Eurofighters. This NATO dogfight gave both pilots a clearer picture of their jet's strengths. Grant, quick to praise the Typhoon's superior thrust, admitted that if this had been a real fight, the F-35's stealth would have given Pierce a serious edge.
He would probably kill me beyond visual range, even before I even knew he was there.
Acknowledging that the 5th-generation fighter's advanced capabilities would allow that kill. To bring the fight down to eye level, Grant and Pierce illustrated their tactics with paper airplanes. Pierce recounted how Grant's Typhoon managed to slip behind his F-35 during the mock dogfight and line up for a gun kill.
I can actually see the gun rounds counting down when I employ the gun, even though it's not loaded, it's just simulated.
Even though the aircraft weren't armed, the realism of the simulation hit hard.
You can just feel it in like the pit of your stomach. You're like, man, this guy just won to fight and it hasn't even ended yet for another minute or so.
For Pierce, the challenge was keeping the F-35's closure speed in check, a key to avoiding becoming an easy target for the dogfight. But Grant's skillful flying kept the pressure on, demonstrating the Typhoon's agility in close-range combat.
So the entire goal is, if you're defensive, is to survive and then create an offensive scenario as much as possible.
However, as Pierce pointed out, the F-35 isn't designed to duke it out up close. Its real power lies in its stealth and its ability to take down enemies from beyond visual range. The F-35 can also serve as a battle manager, using its onboard data links to coordinate and vector in attacks from other assets in the area. It's also worth noting that the F-35 was designed to replace aging fighter inventories, including the U.S. Air Force F-16s and A-10s, the U.S. Navy F-A-18s, and the U.S. Marine Corps' AV-8B Harriers, as well as the UK Harrier GR-7S and Sea Harriers. This means that the F-35 needs to be able to perform all those roles well, which usually means that it performs none of them exceptionally well. A sort of jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none situation. On the flip side, the Eurofighter Typhoon was designed originally as an air superiority fighter. Winning dogfights is its bread and butter. Indeed, the Eurofighter already has blood on its claws. In 2012, during a Red Flag Alaska exercise, the Eurofighter Typhoon achieved several simulated kills against the F-22 Raptor and the Boeing F-A-18E F variant Super Hornet. The question about who wins, the F-35 or the Eurofighter Typhoon, has come up in the past. Writing to The Aviationist, an experienced Eurofighter Typhoon industry test pilot once said, quote, "No doubt the F-35 is a very capable aircraft. Its stealth design, extended range, internal carriage of stores, and variety of integrated sensors are definitely the ingredients for successful modern air-to-ground operations. However, when the time comes for air dominance, some other ingredients, like thrust-to-weight ratio and wing loading, tend to regulate the sky. And in that, nothing comes close to a Typhoon, except an F-22 Raptor, which has very similar values. The F-35 thrust-to-weight ratio is way lower, and its energy maneuverability diagrams match those of the F-A-18, which is an excellent result for a single-engine aircraft like the F-35 loaded with several thousand pounds of fuel and significant armament. But it also means that starting from medium altitude and above, there is no contest with a similarly loaded Eurofighter Typhoon." End quote. The dogfight over Germany wasn't just a workout for the jets. It was a grueling test of the pilot's physical endurance. Quote, "You're underneath a lot of G's," Pierce said, describing the intense strain from high-speed maneuvers. Pilots constantly crane their necks to track their adversaries, all while under extreme pressure. It's a punishing experience, with G-forces multiplying a pilot's body weight to brutal levels. To which Grant added,
I would say I turn my head up to 7 Gs. After that, I don't do anymore, but that's not good for the neck, so.
This one-on-one competition wasn't just about personal bragging rights. It drew in more than 30 aircraft from 9 NATO countries: Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, the UK, and the US. Hosted at Ramstein Air Force Base, the event strengthened NATO's air forces, sharpening the skills and coordination needed to face these future threats. So, for now, the Eurofighter wins the visual range title belt. But just know that in a real engagement, the F-35 likely would have engaged long before the Eurofighter got close, or more likely vectored in some F-22 Raptors to help win the fight. That's it for now. Subscribe if you're not. It really helps the channel grow. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Slava Ukraini.